just any ranger, not by a long shot.
In this time of uncertainty, we must stand together. If possible, come to each other's aid. Defend your worlds, and may the power protect you all.
Our future depends on it.
1, go!
Everyone take a moment and ready yourselves.
Not just any ranger, not by a long shot.